And just like that, Reach Over Culture podcast, it is I, it is Roc, coming to you like I do every Reach Over Culture podcast. You heard me. Hold on. If this is your first time listening to the Reach Over Culture podcast, whether you're just getting hip to us or you've been hip to us or you fell off for a while and now you're back, I just want to go ahead and give you, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Thank you. And God bless. I got my young boy, Babyface Killer, you heard?
Yes, sir.
The man with the plan, Mr. Moses Chavez.
What's good?
How you doing?
Doing great.
All right. My man. So let's go ahead and just jump right off into it, man. This is for the brothers up north. Getting full on that Jack Mac. First pod back. We got another pod to back. All right, for the brothers up north segment, we take the time to highlight, shine a light on anybody, you know, artists, whether we know them, whether we don't know them, company, whatever that we've gotten hip to this month or this week or today that we want to go ahead and give a light to. We go ahead and do that. Friend, whatever. Moses, who you got?
I got Skeeter. She is a homeless artist.
Okay.
That I met during the summer.
Is she here in Tulsa?
Yes, she's here in Tulsa. I met her through an event that we had had, and I bought an art piece from her. And so what she usually does is she paints a bunch of art like on wood. Mm-hmm. And she usually sells it like on the side of the road. And like throughout the summer, she was like posted everywhere, and she would just sell art. And she's just kind of known, which is kind of crazy because like she already has like kind of like a platform.
Wow.
But like she's like, you know, out there experiencing homelessness.
And she's legit homeless.
She might be housed now, but yeah, for a while. Yeah, for a while. That's how she was known. Just she was a painter who was on the street.
She don't have an Instagram, nothing like that.
No.
Oh man, I was about to say. Nah, because hey, some of those people that pose to be homeless like have whole Instagrams and they got cars and they really have things. You know what I mean? Like I've especially these past few weeks, I don't know. I've seen a few homeless people at least claim to be homeless outside the quick trips or whatever. And they be fresh, like they be having nice bomber jackets. I know, literally, dude, right here on 51st and Lewis, right here, okay, right here in front of this quick trip or whatever. Like, you know, my man's he be out there like every day now for the past couple months, and I swear he got they flights, they Jordan flights, but they Jordans nonetheless. And this man is every day. I want to ask him like, yo, where'd you get that bomber from? That bomber is fire. Mm-hmm. You not homeless, bro. I don't want to hear that, bro. Home is where that jacket is. That jacket kind of fire, chief.
Yeah, bro. Let me copy off you right now. How about that?
Right. But shout out to you. Said Skeeter.
Yeah, I think it's Skeeter or Streer. It's been a while since I've talked to her, but hopefully one day I have my home just filled with a bunch of art pieces because that's my goal. Yeah. To have my home filled with a bunch of art only from Tulsa.
All right, that's dope.
So she'll probably have more pieces coming in.
Oh, well, shoot. Go downtown. You'll get a bunch of Tulsa art there, man. Shout out to all the Tulsa artists. Speaking of artists, I want to shine a light on my sis, my loved one, beloved, Miss Destiny Crockett. You heard? She had her first concert this past week at Notion, Tulsa. For those who may or may not be familiar with Miss Destiny Crockett, she is one of the lead worship singers at Transformation Church. So if you've been tuned into a Transformation Church service, she is the young black chick with the red hair. And this past week, she went and did her thing on a solo concert. And I was not able to make it, but I did hear it was fire, and I did watch the playback on IGTV. And I just want to say I'm immensely proud of her for doing her thing. Stepping out. Album comes soon, you heard? Oh, and she actually told me that she was a little tight that she hasn't been on this podcast yet. So we're going to make that work.
Coming soon.
Very soon. And she shared we share the same birthday month, 10 days apart.
Nice.
And she turned 30 this year. A lot is going on for her. Shout out to Love One. Shout out to Love One. That's all. All right, so back to the future segment. This segment, of course, we talk about maybe things we've just experienced in the past week, things we might be looking forward to. Moses, what's your Back to the Future moment?
Probably the Maverick City concert that we just went to.
I heard it was fire.
Bro, it was so fire.
I heard it was fire.
Yeah, it was.
It looked packed in there.
Yeah, it was packed. It
looked dumb packed.
Every seat was occupied. No, it was better than I expected. The music, because everybody knew all the songs, so everybody was like singing along. Like it was just insane. Like it was like a glimpse of what heaven would sound like. That's what I would say.
Fire.
Yeah, the artists, their voices were amazing.
Yeah,
like there's no complaints. It's just it was amazing.
Yeah, that's love. I like that. Anything that you're looking forward to?
Not any events or anything, but the one thing I could probably look forward to is probably Christmas or Thanksgiving.
What?
Yeah.
Do you or do you not have a birthday coming up?
Oh yeah, dude.
Come on, man.
I do.
The Brody's turning 24. The Kobe is on the way. Come on, my G.
Yeah.
Let's get into some of this. Let's get into the meat and potatoes of why we here. Even though that was crazy. Because, I'm looking at the way P rolls out this project. The soundtrack, the short film. I started to think about how we do things and how other fellow podcasters here in the town do things, X, Y, and Z. And just the ideal of social media as a whole. Social media is like the stock market. It changes. It's new trends, a new algorithm, new something every single day. Facebook is changing its name to Meta or something like that.
Yeah, I heard that.
Facebook, they own Instagram, so I can only assume that Instagram is bound to change. But I've had a couple of conversations this week talking about social media and reality versus social media, right? What we perceive people's life to be on social media versus what it is in real life, right? And I even posed a question on the IG story, on our Reach Over Culture Instagram IG story, is do you feel like you have to keep up a certain image on social media, or do you feel pressure to keep up a certain image on social media? If so, why? So I just want to break down some of these things about social media. One, Moses, in your opinion, do you think social media is good or bad for your well-being? Now, this is interesting, being the fact that me and you were both raised in social media, right? I'm a little more familiar with a time before social media, just a little bit more familiar with a time before social media. Not to say that you didn't live a time without social media, because you absolutely did. But I can go back to some some of the most retro social media platforms that you could, like, you probably never even heard of Black Planet.
I've heard you talk about it, but
exactly.
But I have never heard it like by myself.
Exactly my point. Of course, everybody talks about AOL, but I mean, unless you were there and you heard that dial up, exactly. So the chat rooms and everything. So I remember like the internet first. Not the internet first being a concept, because as I learned about the internet in my soliloquy, honestly, the internet was up and kicking way before I even remember, right? So we were kind of even slow to what internet was. We're not truly the internet generation as much as, people my age think we are. But, as far as like the early stages, like the MySpaces and all this, that, and the third, you might have been hip to it. We were engaging in it. Like, this was stuff that we was drowning ourselves in, and it just went from one extreme to the next. Like, it went from, man, you're not able to communicate with your friends unless you on the cordless phone at the crib, or you got your own cell phone, but you got to watch your minutes until it's unless it's at the 9, right? And then boom, all of a sudden this thing called MySpace hits, and you get to create a profile, you get a top friends, you get all these different retrospects, you get the DM people and this, that, and the third. And it hit my people my age like monsoon. We were like, yo, we can talk all the time if we want to, as long as we have internet. So that's us. Your people your age, on the other hand, it's like y'all don't necessarily know life without it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, yo, this has always kind of been a thing. Like since you were like 5 or 6, it's like, yo, Facebook.
No,
yeah,
not 5 or 6, but
I mean, people your age.
Yeah,
I'm not saying you and your household.
Okay,
people your age, like 5 or 6, you looking like, oh yeah, Facebook, because you're 23, about to be 24. It's 2021. Facebook came into concept.
12.
No.
It first came out. I know because like from
like 05.
Yeah, during when Mark Zuckerberg had the platform at college.
So we talking about 15, 16 years back.
But I feel like it didn't blow up until like 11 or 10.
It didn't blow up till like 10 to people our age, sure. But it was already a thing. Like they had already hit 1 million.
Yeah.
1 million users by 2010, 2011. It was already lit. And then like Twitter followed right after, right? Around that time, but around that 06, 07 time, again, MySpace was there. MySpace was the thing before Facebook, and by that time, what year were you born?
97.
97, so yeah, MySpace, you wasn't even 10 yet, I think. Yeah, 97, and MySpace got kicking around 05, 06. Yeah, you barely 10 or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's just, you know what I mean? Like, I was outside in the MySpace streets. And so, but for people your age, it's like, yo, we kind of all, but yeah, even 10, like, you kind of know, like, MySpace is out there. You might not have one, but you know it's out there.
I knew my sister.
My sister was on it. So that's what I'm saying. You don't really, it's like, man, since the dawn of time, since I can remember, it's just social media, whatever, even whether I knew what it was or not, you just kind of know. And so, knowing everything you know about social media up until this point, is social media good or bad for your well-being, in your opinion?
I think it's okay. So for personal, if you use social media as a personal use, mm-hmm. it can get pretty bad. But for your well-being, it's kind of dangerous to really get like addicted to it.
Right.
I think the only benefit of it is because like what you said is like it's one way for us to communicate with people like we don't see very often. Mm-hmm. That's the benefit from it. But overall, I mean, like I used to be addicted to Facebook. Mm-hmm. Like when it first came out, like around 8th grade or 9th grade, I think, probably like 10 years ago. Mm-hmm. I remember one day I was in the computer room and I woke up and I was just going to the feed and I was just kept refreshing, and then I was there for 4 hours, and then I went to go get something to eat, and then I went back and I was just stuck on the computer for like 4 more hours. Mm-hmm. And I was like, bro, what the heck is this? Like, why am I like this? It was just so addicting. I don't know what it was, but just like seeing people from a personal view than from I don't know, just from real life. Mm-hmm. Seeing their personal life was I don't know, intriguing. Mm-hmm. But I remember like that, and I'm gonna be real. Like I'm now addicted to Instagram, which is it's been bad. Like procrastination has like messed me up. Like I would scroll through like Reels. That's the new thing that's happening. Like Reels, that is like everywhere you go. Like let me tell you, because I would just sit there and just laugh and see all these memes and funny stuff for like 2 hours. At least 30 minutes would go by like 5 minutes. And it's crazy because like you go on Facebook, there's Reels. You go on YouTube, there's Reels. TikTok. Thank God Twitter hasn't started Reels. But you know where I was so shocked earlier this week? You know where I found Reels on?
Facebook?
Netflix.
There's Reels on Netflix now?
Yes, it's called Short Laughs.
Wow.
So I was going through it, and I was like, what the heck is this? And then you just scroll up, just like a timeline, and there's just funny clips that Netflix is starting, and it's basically Reels on Netflix. I'm like, bro, come on.
Hey, yo, what's going on here?
So one thing I've noticed is that all these companies know that all their users are more active and more of their screen time is on these Reels. So I think that's why it's everywhere, because they know that people will just keep scrolling to infinity.
So,
So
like,
for your well-being, probably no. It's not good.
I mean, if you had to give a percentage of like, 60-40 bad to good. Like, what's your ratio? What's your percentage? If you just had to guess off top.
Probably 65, maybe 70. You just
70-30.
Yeah, 30% could be used for really good. Because if you have a business, then social media is that's your like pillar that you need. But for personal use, you gotta be careful.
Factual. And I read a study from NPR that linked the rising rate of depression among American teens right now between 2009 and 2019. 2009 in 2019, 26.1% of American teens had experienced persistent feelings of sadness or hopelessness, being linked to social media. Again, around that time, 2009, you had Facebook, you had MySpace, you had Twitter. Twitter was a thing. You know what I mean? That number in 2019 rose up to 36.7 of American teens are experiencing feelings of sadness or hopelessness. In 2009, 13.8% of American teens had seriously considered committing suicide. In 2019, that number rose up to 18.8%. In 2009, 10.9% of American teens had a suicide plan. That number rose up to 15.7%. And in 2009, 8.9% of American teens had attempted suicide. That number rose up to 8.9. 2009, the number was 6.3. That number had rose up to 8.9. So I say to say this, absolutely not. It's not good for your well-being. Social media has now become something it wasn't necessarily created for, at least to the naked eye. Social media was created as a space for you to, again, to connect with loved ones and your friends at a more immediate rate. You know how back in the G, you would go on a trip and your grandparents would be like, take pictures. You know, you got to take the pictures with the digital camera, and then your people had to go to the Walgreens or Walmart or something and go get those printed out. Mm-hmm. All that was solved by the simple fact that you can take those same pictures with the same digital camera, and instead of going to get them printed out, you can choose to do that, or you can just upload them to your social media. You know, hey, I'm here, I'm there, I'm doing this. What do you think about this? It just gives a more immediate access for people to have more community-based conversations, and you ain't got to get their number to do it. We can just do this all over the internet. Again, chat rooms have been around forever. Social media is chat rooms with a lot more exclusivity to self, pictures, and a whole bunch of other cool things that you can mess around with. I can't specifically tell you where it became a business, but it became a business. Ads. Music artists started using that to link with the fans. I remember on MySpace, Soulja Boy Tell Him is a MySpace. He comes from that era. Mm-hmm. Soulja Boy Tell Him comes from the MySpace era. Kids like myself, like P, we was putting Soulja Boy songs as our MySpace profile, and then you would go to our profile, you hear that song, and they're like, "Yo, who is that?" Mm-hmm. I need to put that on my profile. I need to go to his profile. Run up. I need to go see what, you know what I mean. Mm-hmm. So, but social media became at some point more of a business and than a medium. And when you watch The Social Dilemma on Netflix, it gives you the whole science to it. You know, I go to Puma.com to order some shoes. Every Instagram, Facebook, wherever I go, is a Puma ad. Mm-hmm. You know, you want that. And it'd be the same shoe I was just looking at. Right? The same exact shoe I was just looking at on Puma.com is popping up in my ad feeds. Boy, how you know that? Even when I asked these apps not to track, social media became more of a popularity contest and just a bunch of other things. The same way that magazines and stuff used to be used for back in the day. You know, you'll hear people from the 90s that was, you know, teenagers, young adults say, oh yeah, the magazines, they all tell you to be this way or that way, X, Y, and Z. Social media is just a more in your face about it. And it's more immediate. You know what I mean? You instead of taking the time to read a magazine and get comparison, you can just turn on your phone and get comparison.
It's 24/7.
Exactly. Just like with a lot of things in today versus back then, you know, we have a lot of more immediate access to different things. And not to say that the methods or that the plot isn't the same. It's all the same. You know, the world, America especially, has made money off of war and getting people to compare themselves to other people. And social media has just been an easier way to do it because it's all digital, it's in the air, and it's always in your face. You know, versus in the 90s or whatever, it was a lot less mediums to do that. It still was happening. It was a lot of mediums. So, it's definitely not good for your well-being, in my opinion. Now, okay. You personally, do you feel a need to keep up a certain image on social media?
What would that look like? Cause
come on, bro.
Because there's a few different images that you would want to portray.
Not a particular image, but just an image in general. Like, you don't want to look like a sucker. Like, you don't want people to think you a sucker in real life. So you got people that post guns on their Instagram.
Okay.
They may have never even shot a gun, or maybe they have. Maybe they've shot real people in real life, but they need to let you know that. But all of the content that they post is revolved around violence because that's who they know to be. And that's who they want you to know them to be. Or you might have somebody that's player. He always dressed in the nice fly stuff, you know, always in the silk joints, whatever. He's posting thirst traps for the chicks to go ahead and hop in the DMs. He wants you to think that you know what I mean? He's sexy. He wants you to think that whatever. He might also want you to think that he a playboy and he got other women in his DMs. So that way you can go ahead and make that. You know what I mean? You can go ahead and jump in that boat if you think. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, same thing on the other side. Like, do you feel pressure to keep up a certain image? Like, for people that know you to be a certain way off of social media?
I would feel like I would be lying if I said no. Because a lot of people.
Keep it real.
I would.
Keep it real. Keep it gangster. Yeah.
Because, I mean, a lot of people feel the same way, too. You know. You wanna post up in general, people want to look like they're successful. They got everything right. They're happy. They got money. They're traveling. They got a life. You know, and for me, I've done those things too, and I never want to post or show anything that's like fake or trying to boast myself or something. Right. But I definitely want to, make people know that, like, hey, I'm doing something in my life. I'm a cool guy. Right. But
you're a fun guy.
Yeah, I'm a fun guy. Hit me up.
You're a mysterious guy.
Yeah. Lately, my stories have been kind of like that.
Come on now, I'm about to say more. Keep it gangster.
You wanna keep it different here and there, but I'm keeping it real. But I would be lying if I said no. And there are people who are just like, social media is their life. Like, they gotta look like they're doing something every day. They gotta look like their friends are, like, you want to be part of their friend group. They're always going to new restaurant, new spots, post up everywhere. And those people I'm kind of worried about because, like, it seems like social media is their life. Right. Because, like, if without social media or Instagram or Facebook, I feel like they would be like, oh man, what do I do? Right. Who are they without that? Right.
No, that's absolutely, you're absolutely right. It is a balance that has to be kept. Because so do I. I did not have my own personal Instagram for 2 years, a little over 2 years, because it became a rooted comparison. Like, what am I doing compared to all of my peers and what they're doing? Mm-hmm. They're able to post that they're doing X, Y, and Z, and I'm not really doing it to the level that they're doing it. So I'm not really comfortable with posting what I'm lacking on Instagram. Whether even at the start of the podcast, it was like, man, this isn't really giving me any traction. I just need to go ahead and dub this, because all I can do is pay attention to what I perceive people are doing better than myself. And for me, it does get to a point where you start to believe what other people do. And mind you, you don't want to lie. I mean, you don't want to assume that people are lying about their life. Mm-hmm. You just forget to take into account that, however they got there is how they got there. Your path is different, right? Certain things are meant to be taken for a certain source of inspiration. Maybe they are working harder than you. Mm-hmm. Maybe you need to see them working harder than you, right? If they're in their videos and they're reminding you of how hard they work to get there, but you ignore that by just simply looking at the end result, then that's on you, right? But when it gets to that point, you got to be real with yourself. And yeah, absolutely. I've because I'm private and because I'm this low key guy, I still don't post a lot. Like, and sometimes the motive is for me to be the exact person you see off of Instagram, which is you're not gonna see me everywhere doing everything. So you're not gonna see me on social media posted up, whatever. And even if I am, I'm incognito, right? I didn't post one clip from the Cole concert. Not one.
I'm not.
You know what I'm saying? I didn't post one clip of me going to see the new James Bond. I didn't post one clip. I mean, I think I posted a clip of me working on a short film with P. I think I posted a clip. But I don't think a lot of people even knew what I was doing. They just knew I was somewhere with P. Every time I'm hanging out with P, P is the most famous friend I have. Every time I'm hanging out with P, I was just with P. Yesterday I was with P. Sunday for the birthday. I'm not Paris Careers.
Hey, bro.
AMC, World 45. I'm here, right? Like I just because it's not me. It's not me, right? But yeah, but part of that is because I want to be the same person that I am on the ground that I am in real life. But it is still a pressure. Because sometimes I won't say something that I have a real comment on because, Raheem, you ain't the person to speak on that. Mm-hmm. And in my mind, if you want to know the real, you just come listen to the podcast. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
That's how I be feeling. You want the real, you come listen to the pod, man. Y'all be wanting the tea. Come listen to the pod, man.
For real.
I tell you whatever if you looking for the answer's probably here. You heard? Now, what do you think is the biggest con with social media? Since we on the topic,
I think you said it right. Comparison, procrastination.
Because those reels do be taking like,
bro, they take. Oh my gosh, it's seriously to an infinity. You can watch memes after meme after meme after meme. And then there's just a bunch of like sexual stuff on there too.
Oh, facts.
That would mess you up.
Boy.
Everywhere.
Boy.
Everywhere.
Boy.
Yeah.
Boy. Somebody accused me of thirst trapping not too long ago. I said, you want to see a thirst trap? I can show you a thirst trap. Listen, y'all are no good out there. Ladies, and we said this on episodes prior, you can't be mad about being overly sexualized when you look at your peers and your counterparts on the Instagrams, right? Some of these channels, like that, they doing that stuff for a reason, ladies, y'all, and dudes too, don't get it wrong. Dudes out here to setting them
just got faded.
You heard? Reeling in, but yeah. It's a lot of sexy things on the ground.
Yeah, it's tough out there.
But procrastination and comparison, probably the biggest cons for social media.
Yeah, for me personally, I think procrastination is robbed me so many hours of my time.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's the biggest con for me. I mean, it might be different for somebody. Somebody might be comparison, or looking, getting naughty with it, But there's wrong ways of doing it,
Facts.
It's different for everybody.
Facts. I would have to agree. Procrastination for me, probably. Because you just get on, and then you just, even just looking at the same content, you're just looking at the same content, just eyes glued to, like, the same reels.
It's the dopamine. The dopamine coming through.
You know what I mean? Feeling like you're missing out on something.
Mm-hmm.
But it's procrastination, though. I first deleted my Instagram because of comparison, but since having it back, I don't compare myself to people. And I probably wouldn't have came back to Instagram if that was going to be my same struggle.
Mm-hmm.
But, procrastination, you get on a trail of tears, and that joint you just gone for, like, again, 10, 15 minutes straight. You don't even realize, like, 10, 15 minutes just passed up on the clock.
Mm-hmm.
This is crazy. Like, I've had to fight it. Like, I've had to put my stuff, and there don't even be notifications or anything crazy. It's like I open the phone and the Instagram just right there. That'd be the first thing you click on.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I challenge people without even really thinking about it. Just open your phone and look where your thumb goes first.
Ooh.
I've done it to myself. It, like, literally, I open the phone and it just automatically go. It don't even be a second thought.
Yep.
It's just like the thumb just automatically go to the ground. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It don't even be a question. Either that or YouTube. Either I'm going to the ground, I'm going on YouTube. But yeah, procrastination is definitely but Instagram. But it's just crazy how social media has gained itself to a space where they've included so much media, like so much tangible media, where you can watch full recaps of Love and Hip Hop, X, Y, and Z on these different platforms, where it's almost like watching TV.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like looking for a channel to watch.
Yeah.
Where TV would take up most of your time procrastinating, social media now has, because you always watch it for what somebody else is doing next.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, procrastination has definitely been the biggest kind. I think it's probably one of the biggest kinds amongst people our age.
Yeah. Let me throw this one in, because I remember I was fasting from social media for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
This was one thing I experienced. I was so shocked. I knew I was addicted, because social media can be a drug, because you're just so high on this dopamine. Yeah. I deleted it, and after a week, I literally felt sick, like to my stomach, because I
remember that.
Yeah, because I couldn't use it. I felt sick. It was so weird. Like without me using it or looking at it, I like had this craving, and like I just started feeling sick.
I remember that.
Because I've heard, like, heroin addicts, like, I've seen a bunch of drug documentaries that if they don't get their fix, they get really sick. Yeah, so it's kind of the same.
It's calling.
I feel like it was kind of the same thing happened to me, and I was like, dude, this is bad.
Yeah. That's how you know you have a problem.
Yeah.
I ain't never been sick to my stomach.
I've been
itching.
Weird.
I've been a little itchy, but not sick to my stomach.
Yeah.
But I get it, though. Again, it's a thing that we don't like to talk about, but it's a real reality. Mm-hmm. And the same people that get addicted to social media that can't stay off is the same people that complain about it.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all let social media tell y'all how to live and what to do and what to look like and X, Y, and Z, and you spilling all your problems out on social media.
Yeah.
That's another podcast for another day. Now, wrapping up, being that we've listed some good, some pros, some cons, how often, in your opinion, should we take a break from social media?
Once a week.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Once a week.
Okay.
I've had times where I've turned off my phone before I went to bed because it was just too much.
Yeah.
I know somebody who actually, she would turn off Instagram, all her social medias from Monday to Friday, and have it on the weekend.
That's a good idea.
And then I had a friend who only used Instagram and Facebook on Sunday. So she never had it. She downloaded it on Sunday, though. Yeah. I mean, just do whatever works for you.
Yeah.
Just kind of find a balance, a healthy balance, obviously.
Yeah.
But if just in general, I feel like everybody should take a break at least a couple times a month.
I like that. I would agree with that. I would agree with that. A couple times a month.
Mm-hmm.
because to your point, like you said, some people have made businesses out of social media. Yeah. And that's how a lot of businesses thrive, is off of the social media presence. And so, you know, we're not saying social media is completely bad. It's just what it's turned into and what it's doing to us as people. And what it's doing to our souls. A lot of people are predicating their souls based off of what their social media is saying. And I only say souls, I only get that deep. It's not, I don't really care that. But we get 24 hours in a day, right? Mm-hmm. The likelihood you probably sleep minimum 5, max of 9, 8, 9. A lot of that day is gone, right? Mm-hmm. Then you have another, 16, 17, 18 hours.
Yeah.
Just be up, alert, doing whatever, however, whatever. Go to your phone, look at your productivity, and see how many hours you spend on socials, right? Some people spend upwards 7, 8, 9 hours, 10 hours a week, whatever. Right? That means on average you're spending up to a couple of hours, few hours on social media every single day. And if you struggle with comparison in the first place, the likelihood is that whatever you're watching on social media, whatever you're seeing on social media, is sticking with you the other 12 to 15 hours you up during that day. Mm-hmm. So it's working even when you're not on it. Mm. Right? And so it's absolutely positively healthy in some instances because, again, it keeps businesses afloat, especially during this pandemic. A lot of businesses started to thrive because people was ordering online and social media presence, X, Y, and Z. A lot of churches stayed afloat because their social media presence was on par. Fair. But for us as people and our personal well-being, even a lot of people that I know that use their social media as their businesses say they struggle with taking a break and even struggle with comparison and have to give themselves a couple of days, at least out the month, to just forget about it, exit out of it, whatever. And whatever you need to do, do that. Delete it, right? Whenever I take a break from like a serious social break, I delete it. Mm-hmm. Delete it. Instagram, Facebook, whatever, I delete it. Right? I have in the past when I fasted social media, I just delete it because I know my thumb is just going to look. Mm-hmm. Right? So, yeah, absolutely take as many breaks from social media as you possibly can if you're not using it as a business. And, of course, it's up to your own preference, like you said. Any final words of encouragement for the people?
Don't let social media control you. Mm-hmm. Just you control it. That's one thing.
I like that. You control social media. You control your social media. Don't let your social media control you. Mm-hmm. Luke 25 says, and this is Luke 25. This is, one of the Apostle Luke. He's recording something that Jesus is saying to the disciples. So this is Jesus' words in biblical technical sense. What good is it for someone to gain the whole world and yet lose or forfeit their very self? Now, he was talking about a very particular time. He was in the middle of a very particular parable, but very applicable to the situation. Social media exposes us to the world, and it shows us what our world could or can't look like, what we would or we wouldn't be doing, how to feel, how to think. It's the world in our face every single day. Mm-hmm. And we try to go out and conquer that world that we see on social media. Right? But what good is it for somebody to gain that world? There's a lot of times the things you feel like you have to go get on social media, the trips and the cars and the level of success that somebody might, that same world that you trying to conquer, you trying to gain the access, usually you have to lose a little bit of yourself to get it.
Yeah.
And what good is it?
Mm-hmm.
If you have to, I mean, we see it every day. People are pulling pranks and starting challenges and X, Y, and Z. Twerk the whole 9 to get a bag, to go get that world that they see in the internet, but yet to lose a little bit of themselves every single day. And again, social media is not all bad. It is some good, but monitor yourself. And like Moses said, don't let it control you. You control your social media. You heard? Because I'm not going to say it's all fake, but a lot of it is. You know what I'm saying? A lot of it is. Basura.
That's it.
Man, we love y'all, man. Reach Over Culture Podcast, you heard, episode 75. This is the diamond episode, man. Listen. Sorry. When I started one, I didn't know if we would make it to 75. To keep it real.
Yeah.
But I appreciate you, Moses. I appreciate y'all. If you are interested in sponsoring the Reach Over Culture Podcast, make sure you hit us up at Reach Over Culture on Instagram or email us at reachoverculture@gmail.com. We love y'all. We thank y'all. Moses Chavez, Rock. We out.